Hello everyone, this is Satish here. Today we'll discuss about the performance difference between the save and save all in Spring Data. So you using an example. So for that I am referring to a Beldung website. So here they have taken an example of a book entity and also a book repository they have. And for measuring the performance of the save and save all, they are creating 10,000 books. So for save, each book has been created and added to the database using the JPA save API, and for the save all they are first creating the 10,000 book and then sending those 10,000 book in one go using a save all method. Yeah, and also measuring what is the performance, how much time it took while doing the save and save all of the 10,000 books, and also if we increase the batch size JPA batch, is there an increase in the performance or not. So these they are measuring it here. And what is the difference between the save and save all? This is mostly related to the number of JDBC connections we make to the database, like how many connections we are setting up using a save and save all. So this is important here, like the difference. And finally ending up with the conclusion of the save and save all. So this we will also cover all of the scenarios using a Spring Boot application. So I will jump back to that. Yeah, so this is the Spring Boot application. So I'll quickly give you a brief about this application. So first, the properties file. I'm making a connection to my local database, save versus save all DB, and using my local host username and password. And the schema will be auto updated if I update anything in the entity class. And the driver which I am using is the JDBC driver. The application is running on the port 7770. This is actually not required, but simply I'm keeping it as of now. And I am also including some of the like I want to see what is happening behind the scene, like how many connections are being set up. So for that I am using generate script to be true. And if you want to see the query, like what exactly the queries are running, you can also enable that as well, like the show query to true. As of now I'm keeping it false. And then JDBC batch size, I'm so keeping it as a 30. So this will cover later once I jump back to the scenario where we will be doing batching. So this is with respect to the application properties file. And the main application file, like the here I am having application runner. So when the application will start up, so after the application context has been created, this application runner will be called. And it will basically, I'm having two methods here. So save service save document, and save all service save document. So in the save service save document is basically for saving each document one by one. Means save means jp repository dot save, and in the save all, like jp repository dot save all is been called. Okay, so this is with the main file. Yeah, I'll go back to the save service as well. So in the save service, as I said, it's a very simple class where we have once the book has been created, I'll be saving it back to the database. Yeah, and also calculating what is the time is I'm taking to insert the document. So this is there. And in the save all as well, I am having the same, the code is exactly same. The only difference is that once the book has been created, then I'm adding the books. Simple save repository I have. And the entity is book here. So in the entity I have added a few things, like the primary key is the ID, the name, author title, the cost of the book. And I'm having a constructor. Through this I initialize the object and add it to the database. And I have also like the created date and updated date, which is which is set according to my need. Like whenever there is an update, it will update the updated date, and when the document will be created, it will create and update date with the same time. Yeah, so and I am also having a constraint, like what all the constraint I'm using. So this constraint will be used for by the post save and save all service. Yeah, so this is pretty much about like the application setup. So I'll quickly go and run the application. So before that I will clean the database. Yeah, so the database is not exist as of now, so I'll run the application. So I am running as a so first I am creating using the save. Yeah, so you can see if I go back to database to verify the documents, so I'll use this. So the 5 documents has been added, and if I want to look to the data, I can have like author name, the book name, this is the book name, and this is the title, the dated, updated, the cost of the book, and the primary key of the book table. Yeah, so these are the 5 entries has been created. So the important thing is here is to look at the logs. So let's see from the top. So this is the application. So these are not useful to us, like Hibernate is doing something which is not relevant to us as of now. So after this we will see, let's verify how many JDBC connections has been created in this scenario. So we have one JDBC connection here for adding one document. So it added one entry, sorry, one entities. So for that it created one JDBC connection. So there is one more JDBC connection created for adding the second entry, and for third there is one more, and yeah, it added one entry, and there is one more fourth JDBC connected, it added one more entry, and there is a one more JDBC, like the fifth JDBC is created, and there is one more entry. So total 5 JDBC connections has been created in this scenario to process the data into the database. And the time it took is very small. It's like it's very small. It's like divided by 10 to the power 9, this many seconds is take. It's a very microseconds. And yeah, and this is with respect to the save. And if I just repeat the same scenario for the save all and check how many JDBC connections has been created. So yeah, I'll comment this out and comment out this, and let's just rerun this application. Yeah, so the execution is completed. Let's verify the documents. So 5 plus 5, 10 documents we have, and if you want to look, we have those exactly same documents. So in this scenario, I guess I'm adding the price as teaser I, that's why we are getting I 0 1 2 3. Let's verify one. Yeah, so the price is actually I, that's okay, it's not important as of now. Yeah, so let's look at the logs from the beginning and see what is happening behind the scene. So these all are not relevant for us. Yeah, so we'll start looking from here. So we can see there is only one JDBC connection has been created, and using this one JDBC connection, um, it actually make an entry of the 5 entities. So how save all works in the backend, like it will create only one JDBC connection, and internally save all will use save method only, but that save will use the existing JDBC connection. The save will not create any more JDBC connection for it himself. Okay, so in this scenario we have one JDBC connection and 5 JDBC statements here executed by 5 different save method which are using the same JDBC connection which was created initially. Okay, so that's why we see only one log here with regards to the number of JDBC connections has been set up, and the using this JDBC connection only we are adding the 5 entities. Yeah, and that is the most important difference between the save and save all. And I am going to repeat the same using a big number, and let's see what is the performance we'll get. So yeah, so I'm running the save again, back to save, and yeah, in the application constraint I'll increase the document size to around 1 lakh. So yeah, so 1 lakh I'm adding. Before that I will also delete the database to make a fresh test. Yeah, let's rerun this application. So in this scenario there will be too many logs because it will create around 1 lakh of connections, exactly 1 lakh of connection for adding 1 lakh of documents. So there will be too many logs here in the console. So this is actually not the good practice. So to add 1 lakh document using save, because each time it will create a one connection to the database, set up a connection, release a connection, that will also take some time. So obviously your performance of your application will be tested here as well. So this is not the right practice, but anyway, we for the example I am taking it. So the so for in this example there are around 1 lakh of JDBC connections has been set up. So if we want to verify, we can verify any one of this. So one JDBC connection, one entity has been saved to the database. Parallelly for others as well, the same scenario, like one JDBC, one entity has been saved, and the total time it took around 32 seconds. So this is the not the exact time, because the timing, as I said, for timing what I'm doing is basically I'm like I saved the start date, and for each document it is saved, I'm just getting means I'm once the all the save process has been completed, I'm printing the like the end date here. Basically I'm passing it to a calculate the time. So this method is basically giving, if I go back, this is simple code which is taking the difference of the time and is converting to the time taken to my format in which I want, and it returning it back to me as a string, and I'm just going through the string and getting all the relevant information. So this is the time it is taking. So roughly it is taking around 32 seconds, we can say. Yeah, so let's repeat the same using save all as well and see what is the time it is taking. So I'll just comment it out, and let's also delete the database, and let's repeat this test. Yeah, around 32 seconds for 1 lakh documents added using save method. And yeah, and one more important point which we need to consider here is that the entity is very small here. Like it has only around 7 properties here, like from ID to cost 5, and then up we have 2 more properties. So if the entity is also very complex, so if the entity has been related to, like if there is a parent child table involved here, so and that table also has a relationship with some other parent and child, so the entity will be very big. So yeah, just consider these scenarios as well while designing while using the save or save all method, because it really impacts the performance of the application. Okay, so in save all it's been completed. Let's verify the number of dogs here. Quickly go. So we have 1 lakh documents has been added using the save all, and there is, let's go from the start because we will have a less log here. So these are all no use of for us, and there is only one JDBC connection, but using one JDBC connection there are 1 lakh save method is been called, but it is using the same JDBC connection. So for that the performance what we get is around 18 second. So 18 second is fairly a good amount of time. It's much better than what 32 seconds. So this is basically the difference between the save and save all. Okay, so we can also optimize this. So one way to optimize is by using some batching logic here. So for batching I'm using the Hibernate batching concept here. So for this I have set up the properties as batch size of 30, and I'm also enforcing the database to use the batch here, rewrite batch statement to be true, so that it will use the batch as a batching as a logic to insert the document. But there is one catch here, that this batching will only be enabled in case means this batching will not be enabled in case of an identity. If the ID is identity, so if the generation type is of identity, it will not be enabled. This is the restriction from the JPA side. Okay, so if we for this to enable the batching, we have to change it back from identity to the sequence, and basically for the generator, sequence generator will be sec generate, and there will be generator, means every time it will create a number for us, and using that number we will be basically saving the data. Means in sequence basically it means like we first ask the database so what will be the next set of the sequence, then we insert the row with that sequence ID in the table. So this is with respect to the sequence generator, and in the identity means the database is responsible to generate the primary key. It's like a auto increment. every time the key will be auto incremented. But in this scenario, we will be first asking the database to give me the ID, which needs to be what ID I need to keep it in the my primary key. So in this scenario, the database is responsible for providing me that ID, and using that ID I go and add that. Okay, so the these restrictions is only in case of the identity. We don't have the batching. So yeah, so the reason for not, I have actually get to know from this Stack Overflow question. So basically I'll tag this in the description section. You have a rook. So this, so if you go through this answer, this guy has added nicely. Okay, so here he says like the increment. So yeah, the important point to notice here, like the increment process happens outside the current running transaction. So a rollback may end up discarding the already assigned value. So this is one of the important point. In case of the identity, it says like the transaction, the auto increment value is been assigned outside the transaction. So that's why the batching is not been supportable in case of identity. But in case of sequence generator, this scenario is not there. And one more thing, that the increment process is very efficient. It is using the database lightweight locking mechanism as opposed to the heavyweight. Okay, and it also says the increment, like the identity generation type is like it's been like it's a lightweight locking process instead of using a cross gain locks. So this is also a good about the identity. And there is also, you mentioned like there is a drawback that there is the entry the transition right when plus is tightly adopted by Hibernate. For this reason, Hibernate disables the okay, so there is a drawback that you can't know the newly assigned value prior to executing the insert. So in this scenario, as I said, in using this point, the database is responsible for generating the IDs, like it's a auto increment from the database side. So there is a separate transaction has been created for that from the database side. So the drawback is that you don't know the ID here. So this is the only drawback. And yeah, this is mostly related to why we don't have a batching enabled for the generation type identity. Okay, so yeah, so using so I have commented the generation type identity and added these two, and let's run this and see what is the behavior. I'll quickly run this. Before that, I will clean up the database. Okay, so I'll taking the example of this only, and let's see what is the batching is being enabled or not. We'll see. Okay, so let's quickly look at the logs. Yeah, so this is okay. So what is the issue here? Oh no issues. It is actually executing the statement. So here you can see the time it took roughly around the same, like the 17 second. Ideally from the if it's using a batching, it should be less, but here we are getting a 17 second. And we have the batch size is around, let's verify that as well. I guess it's 30. Yeah, it's 30. So we have around let's calculate that as well. So we have around 1 lakh 1 lakh document divided by, we have around how many 30 as a batch size. So we'll be having around 3334 batches, so which is what we get here, around 3334 batches. And at the end it will be adding around 1 lakh of entities, and the batches it will create around 3334. So yeah, this in this scenario we can definitely get to know there is a batching is being created, but in the other scenarios the batching are not created. So means internally we don't create a batches. Okay, so this is, yeah, this is the advantage of using the generation type from identity to the sequence generator. So this will get the benefit of creating the patches, and this will if the schema or the entity is very big, it will definitely increase the performance. But yeah, there as like most of the people use identity because this is preferred, and it is kind of like the database create has the responsibility of creating the means creating the id for us, like using the auto increment properties. And also one more thing need to be noticed here, if you go and look at the table, so we will have a one more table created here. So book is other entity which will be created, but using the sequence generator, as I mentioned, the sequence name will be the sequence here. Okay, so in this case the sequence table is also created, and let's see what is present in the sequence. Okay, it will be having only one value, no need for limit. Okay, so this is the value the database has been creating for us. Okay, and every time we are doing an insert, we are asking the database what is the next number. So database will give us the next number from the next value here, and we are using it to insert the value. Yeah, so that's pretty much about this discussion which I want to discuss. So I hope it will be helpful to anyone who is try to learn the save and save all difference. So yeah, I'll be adding the code in the description, and also mentioning the important links in the description as well, which will definitely help. So this is one of the link which I used to set the properties, like the generate statistics. So this is the one, and also it also says like it's not possible in case of identity. So all these things, like this is a very good document we can actually refer to anytime if you are thinking about the performance. And parallelly I'll be adding the building in description as well, and this solution as well. That's a pretty nice solution, and the code base as well. Yeah, that's about from me. Yeah, thank you.